Hello Summoners, and welcome back to another ProGuides mid-patch update video. My name is Dan, and today I'll be going over all the strongest champions using fresh statistics to give you the most accurate and best tier lists available. We encourage all of our viewers to comment on our lists and say if you agree or disagree with us on specific champion placements. A lot has changed since the beginning of patch 9.15, and there's a lot to cover. But before we get started, ProGuides has a small announcement to make. We are very excited to announce that we're adding a ton of features to our site, which include 1. Exclusive guide videos for our pro members every single day. 2. ProPass now grants access to all games, such as Fortnite, Smash Brothers, and Overwatch. 3. More free coaching passes for InstaPro if you are a pro member. We would also like to give a big shout out to Adam, who came to our staff with some of these changes, and we really appreciate the help, so thank you, Adam. And like always, make sure to go to ProGuides.com if you want to see huge improvements in your rank. Alright, now let's kick things off. Starting with the top lane. The top lane tier list sees a couple of changes from the one we had at the start of the patch. Sitting at the very top of our tier list in his S+ throne is Kled. Kled recently received a huge buff to his Q, which now reduces healing on targets he successfully yanks. Due to the massive amount of healing in champions in our S and A tier, Kled has become the #1 counterpick to them all. Not only can he demolish them in a 1v1 now, but he can also roam extremely well and initiate teamfights with ease. Kled is by far the best top laner in the game, so make sure you try him out. In our S tier, we have Riven, Darius, Vladimir, Mordekaiser, Renekton, and welcoming back our tentacle overlord, Illaoi. Illaoi received a mini gameplay rework not too long ago, and players are finally adjusted to her new playstyle. She's one of the most oppressive top laners in the game right now, and her stats really reflect that. If you've ever laned against an Illaoi top, then you'll know what it feels like to be completely dominated in lane. Just a PSA for all top laners, make sure you rush some healing reduction as your first item versus Illaoi, because she will heal her entire HP bar within a few seconds. Also in our S tier, we have Riven, who is still a very strong top laner with huge amounts of burst, mobility, and shielding. Even after some very small nerfs she received a few months ago, Riven is still very dominant in the top lane, but is holding onto her S tier status by a thread. Even the slightest feature balance change that goes against her favor might drop her down to the A tier, but she'll be cozy in our S tier for now. Our analysts recommend you hop onto the Riven train because she's extremely fun to play and is also very good. In our A tier, we have one new member who was dropped from our S tier recently, and that is Jax. Jax is traditionally a very strong top laner, but has lost his S tier status in our mid-patch update. Jax in patch 9.15 is just not blind pickable anymore, and he requires too much gold to trade effectively against his opponents. His first base is extremely weak, and you'd need about 2,000 plus gold to really make plays in the top lane. However, that doesn't mean Jax is a weak pick at all. If he manages to get going early, then he's going to become that unstoppable split-pushing threat, but he just isn't as reliable anymore. Another new member in our A tier for our mid-patch update is Malphite. Much like Illaoi, Malphite recently received a mini gameplay rework, which shifted his win rate and play rate by a ton. He's holding on to a decent stance in the meta right now, and you should really pick him up as a counter pick to specific AD matchups because he's so easy to play. However, make sure you don't blind pick him, or even pick him into AP top laners because he'll be neutralized pretty heavily in those matchups. Moving on to the jungle. The jungle tier list also sees a ton of changes compared to the one that we had at the start of the patch. In our S tier, we have Hecarim, Nunu, Karthus, Elise, J4, Kha'Zix, and Master Yi. These 7 champions should come as no surprise to you because they've been in and out of our S tier for multiple patches, and they're finally here to stay. If you're looking to pick up more junglers for some freelo this patch, then our challenger analysts highly recommend you choose between these 7. The first S tier pick we'd like to talk about is Karthus. Although he received some nerfs not too long ago, Karthus is still a very powerful jungler who can dominate solo queue with ease. Despite his low win rate in most regions, he is the most OP jungler in Korean solo queue right now, and is heavily prioritized in the drafting phase. His ability to full clear camps with lightning speed while simultaneously impacting lanes with his ultimate are exactly what you need to win more games. Definitely give him a try, you won't regret it. The next S tier pick we want to break down is Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix received a huge buff to his Q this patch, which increased the base damage by 10 at all ranks. Our analysts were spot on in their predictions at the start of the patch, and Kha'Zix has been moved up to the S tier status. The extra base damage lets him clear his camps much faster than before, and you can really feel the change once you get into game with him. But the best part is, Kha'Zix is a solo queue monster. His ability to stealth out and catch enemies out of position allow him to become one of the best solo queue junglers in the game. Next up in the jungle, we have a few notable A tier picks who are so close to making that push to S tier. Vi, Rammus, Sejuani, Lee Sin, Evelynn, Kayn, and Kindred are all pretty close to S tier but missed the mark by a tiny amount. You could consider these guys as A+ tier picks, but to keep things simple, we'll leave them in our A tier for our mid-patch update. A few rising stars for patch 9.15 are Gragas and Nidalee. Gragas was buffed not too long ago, which increased his base stats, allowing him to have a much faster and healthier first clear. Due to these buffs, Gragas has been moved up to our A tier ever since, and he's held that position for the past few weeks. Escaping a Predator Gragas gank is so hard because he has so many tools to catch you out. Whether it's just his Q, Body Slam Flash, his ultimate, Flash ultimate, the list goes on. Nidalee, on the other hand, received a small buff on her E a few weeks ago, and her stance in the meta improved by a lot. Although 10 extra damage on her swipe may not seem like much, the impact it has on her early clear is tremendous. A lot of Nidalee mains are really enjoying this change, and she's been placed in our A tier for patch 9.15. Now, let's go to the mid lane. The mid lane tier list doesn't see too many changes compared to the one we had before. Sitting at the very top of our list all by himself is Fizz. Fizz had a rework on his passive a few weeks ago, which now negates not only auto attack damage, but both AD and AP damage altogether. Many players considered this as a nerf, but the stats clearly show that it's had a pretty big impact on his stance in the meta. His win rate and play rate have increased significantly since the rework, and he's sitting in the S+ tier all by himself. In our S tier, we have Zed, Ahri, Katarina, Vladimir, Malzahar, Talon, and Qiyana. These 7 champs have been in our S tier for quite some time, and it shouldn't come as a surprise to see them on here once again. Qiyana received a slight nerf to a few of her abilities this patch, but they completely missed the mark on why Qiyana is strong. Her base damage is extremely high, and her ultimate can single-handedly demolish your opponent's entire HP bar if you land it. Her win rate is only going up from here, so make sure to pick her up and add her to your champion pool. You'll definitely see her more often once she gets prioritized more in pro play, so hop on the train early. In our A tier, we have a few notable picks who are close to making that push to S tier, which are Mordekaiser, Cassiopeia, Nico, and Diana. Now, you might be surprised to see that we've mentioned Diana on our list because she's typically known as a weak champion. Diana is not weak at all. In fact, her stance in the meta improved drastically, even after the mini nerfs made to her kit. The reason for this is because there are a lot of champions in the meta right now who get countered by Diana, such as LeBlanc, Syndra, Sylas, Tristana, Azir, and Qiyana. Definitely try her out before you come to a conclusion. You'll be surprised at just how strong she is. Lastly, for our mid lane, the much anticipated Tristana mid has been dropped to our B tier due to players losing a ton with her. Self-control is key when you play this champion. Since Trist is so strong in lane, players are very tempted to rocket jump forward into their death. The biggest counter to Tristana is the player itself, so take a step back and play it slow. Let's move on to AD carries. The AD carry list sees almost no changes in our mid-patch update. Sitting at the S+ tier, like always, is Sivir. Sivir is the best AD carry for solo queue right now due to her safe wave clear, poke, utility, and spell shield. Her damage is really high and also hits multiple members, so she's very effective in those small skirmishes and team fights. In our S tier, we have Draven, Jinx, Vayne, Kai'Sa, and Ezreal. These 5 champions are the same 5 in our S tier from before, so you can continue to enjoy your freelo playing these comfort picks. Kai'Sa recently hit the 50% win rate mark in Korea, which is actually really impressive. Mechanically intense AD carries such as Kai'Sa, Lucian, or Ezreal usually have a below 48% win rate due to their skill cap heavily affecting these stats. However, Kai'Sa has managed to break past that, which goes to show just how strong she is. If these numbers keep up, then we might even add it to our S+ tier in the future. Yasuo has been moved up to our B tier this patch due to his win rate increasing quite a bit. This may be because of the current state of the bot lane meta favoring champions like Yasuo who can synergize well with their support and kill the enemy laner 2v2. He goes really well alongside the best supports in the game, such as Pyke, Thresh, and Rakan, so make sure to pick up a duo partner and try these out whenever you can. Finally, onto supports. For the first time ever in ProGuides history, we are placing 3 champions into our S+ tier. Pyke, Nautilus, and Thresh are pretty much dominating the bot lane meta right now, and they're sitting at the very top of our tier lists. Pyke goes without explanation. The changes made to his ultimate grant you so much gold, which can pretty much turn the tides of a game. Pyke is by far the best out of these 3 by a decent amount, but unfortunately, there is no S++ tier. Nautilus and Thresh, the Hook City brothers. Sorry, Blitzcrank. They've been doing really well in the bot lane recently. Their aggressive style of supporting aligns well with the current meta, and their stats are only improving. They're 2 of the most played supports in the game, so get ready to see them often in ranked. In our S tier, we have Nami, Janna, Morgana, Bard, and Blitzcrank. Bard received a small buff to his base HP at level 1, which makes him so much more tanky than before. Seriously guys, this guy's an absolute unit at level 1, and he can eat up any damage you throw at him early. Mess with the Bard, and you get the meeps. Alright guys, that's it for our mid-patch analysis video for 9.15. If you enjoyed watching this video, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to be notified of our next video. Also, make sure to check out our previous videos on the top 6 best jungle paths and OP Korean builds for patch 9.15 if you want to maximize your chances at winning. Make sure to check out our website for free content and guides that were made by your favorite pro players. Also, if you want to find me on any social channel, you can at @DanielAmmerman. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you out there on the Rift.